Today I'm gonna show you how to fix the ghost touching issue, which means, your infotainment screen, jumps from a screen to screen. Sometimes it goes to navigation, sometimes it changes the radio channel. I had some doubts that this is related to the firmware, but even the firmware update didn't resolve the problem. Another common issue is when your navigation, let me show you here, the navigation map, uh, you know, gets dirty or corrupted. When this happens, then, you notice that your infotainment system keeps rebooting automatically. So they sell them very expensive at the dealer. You can get them like very cheap from Amazon or eBay. So you can remove your map and get the part number and just order the same part number for about $55 from eBay, and then you replace that. The rebooting issue is gonna go away in most cases. So that's related to the navigation, and it's just you push it, it pops out. It's pretty easy. um, but the problem we're talking about is about like jumping your screens. Like you notice like it's acting up, it automatically operates, and there is a known issue that they call it like ghost touching these days. And I believe Mazda should cover this under warranty or recall, but when I called the vendor, when I called the dealer, they said no, there is no recall on your vehicle. So and I didn't want to spend $1,200, just to get the touchscreen replaced, because I rarely use the touchscreen. I usually just use the knobs here. So in order to fix this issue, there is another video that the gentleman shows you how to, kind of cut open the back cover of your LCD and remove the touchscreen cable. But I was going to show you there is an easier way, and I think it's kind of wiser, because if you cut open the LCD's back cover later on, if there is a recall, Mazda is going to refuse to fix your LCD under warranty. So I decided I don't want to cut the cable, or I don't want to cut open the LCD's back panel. So I'm going to show you how you can remove the back panel and just remove the cable properly. So in case if there is a recall in the future, you can put everything back on and take it to the dealer and just fix it for free. So your first step is to use a piece of plastic, or just you just don't want to like a scratcher. You can put a flat screwdriver, but it may just put some marks on the edge. But so use a piece of plastic, pop open this side, and then start pulling from the right to left. So you get to this part, you push open the pin on this cable, and then you remove the cable. Once you remove the cable, I'm gonna put this back on my back seat, and then you start with the second piece of trim. Same thing, you just put this piece of plastic here, you start pulling from right to left, and then the second piece of trim is gonna come out. I've done it a couple of times, so it may be harder the first time, but basically there are these pins holding the trim on the dashboard. So all you have to do is keep pulling and they're gonna come off. Once you get to this part, again, 2 more clips, you press, it's gonna release, and the second one, okay, the second one came out. And actually the second one was for the first trim. So you remove this, and then all you have to do, you gotta use a I'm using a 10mm socket with the extension. So you're gonna open these two with the 10mm socket, and the 3 with the Phillips screwdriver. Once you do that, you start pulling from side to side, and the radio is gonna come off. If it got stuck in this side, you just have to press and pull the speedometer out to open more room for the radio to come out. All right, so once you remove the radio from your dash, there are 4 screws connecting your LCD to the unit. So there are 2 up here, which I removed, and 2 screws down below. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, there are 2 screws down here. So you should remove the screws, all 4 screws, and once you do that, your LCD is gonna come out. So here's the LCD. As you can see, the LCD is loose, and then you gotta press the clips here on the flat cable in order to remove the LCD from the unit. And then there are 2 other screws here. Once you remove the LCD from the unit, you open these 2, and then we're gonna use this piece of plastic, to crack open the back cover in order to access the touchscreen flat cable. I was able to crack open, going around all the edges, and the back cover opened. So now you can easily access the touch screen and disconnect this cable. So once you disconnect this cable, the touch screen is not gonna work. So there's not gonna be a ghost touch issue. The other alternative is you can actually buy the LCD from eBay. I think it's like about $100, and you can replace the screen. But I'm not gonna do that because I don't really use the touch screen, so I don't really care. But I didn't want to cut the piece of plastic just in case if in the future there is a recall for the vehicle. I just didn't want to give any excuse to the Mazda that I manipulated the car. I don't want to tell them that I did this. So if there is ever a recall, I'm gonna put this together. I'm gonna put this cable back to its place, and I'm gonna take it for the warranty replacement. So I was gonna tell you what you need to do. There is this piece of plastic that folds and lays on the flat cable. As you can see, it goes up and down. So you gotta push it up with something. Once it's open, you can actually pull out the flat cable. And once you disconnect the flat cable, then the touch screen is gonna be disabled. So you're not gonna be worried about the ghost touching or basically jumping from a screen to screens automatically. Mazda may charge you $1,200 or more to replace the whole unit, but I think they should cover this under recall because there are thousands of vehicles doing the same behavior. So this is basically a poor engineering from their side or their vendor, the infotainment system vendor. So they should cover this in the future, and they should not charge the customer. I mean, we're expecting more from Mazda. It came up as a top reliable car, and this is one of my major complaints, and a lot of other people complain about the same reliability issue. Anyways, that's all you need to do. So once you disconnect the flat cable, you can leave it open. You just put the cover back on, and you put the screws, and you just put everything back. Then you got to connect all of your cables. Make sure you don't forget any of cables, otherwise you may have some problem with your radio, or it may not turn on and scare you that you broke something. So make sure that all of these cables are plugged in. In my car I have Apple CarPlay, so I have I think 6 different cables because I have a Apple CarPlay module. So make sure all of the cables are plugged in, and then start pushing your radio back into its place. It's pretty easy. Everything is very straightforward. You just have to play with it a little bit. It may touch this piece of plastic here, so you keep playing with it until it goes back in. So now that you put the radio back on, you get the upper piece of trim. You have to connect don't forget to connect the cable back to the socket. That's for your emergency lights. So you put the first one back in, and all you have to do is gently push it from side to side, and then you'll hear the clips are going back into its place. There you go. So, and then you can see from the edges that the trim is back. There you go. Okay, so the first piece is done. You get the second piece of trim. Same thing. The push start button is here. You connect the cable for the push start button. All right, so it's back, and then make sure those pins line up properly, and then start pushing from the left to right. You gotta hear those pops, you know. And that's it. You're done, and your radio is fixed. All right, so I'm gonna start the car up. So if I go to the main menu, you'll see the touch screen is no longer working, which is gonna fix that the ghost touching issue. Thanks for watching.